Kevin Kogan in the Man Cave classroom today analyzing a document. I think even before we go to read this, I wound up getting this from the Suffolk County Historical Society, so that's not a part of the original document. So I think before we get into this, there's probably some things that pop out at you. I know they're popping out at me, particularly with the date.
Date.
Yeah.
April 19th, 1918. What's going on 1918?
Well, over in Europe, they got a
little thing called the Great War going on.
Yeah, they got some activity going on over there.
A little bit. Back home, the temperance movement's going on.
Yep.
Back home, the women's suffrage movement's going on.
Yep.
Just to kind of get this context going on of what's going on both locally and internationally.
Right. Now, of course, before we even get here, this looks like a letter. It's from the Navy Department, the Assistant Secretary's office. So this is probably from somebody important. So if I'm going to look to see who's the author of this, and when it comes to the author, this becomes pretty important. It's Assistant Secretary of the Navy, and it happens to be Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Ah.
I have a feeling we'll be coming across him later on in the year, possibly.
Yeah, just like his cousin, Assistant Secretary of the Navy.
Yep, so there is a relationship there. We see another Roosevelt. They are cousins. Now, who's this to? Mrs. H.B. Fullerton, Medford, Long Island, New York. And he writes, Dear Madam, your prompt and patriotic response to the Navy's call for binoculars, telescopes, and spyglasses is most appreciated. The glasses will be very useful in the prosecution of naval operations until victory is won. So now this changes things a little bit in terms of our historical context.
Yeah.
This is a thank you letter from the Assistant Secretary of the Navy.
Yep.
And she lent him spyglasses, binoculars, telescopes. Why the heck would the Navy need binoculars, spyglasses, and telescopes from the general public at this point?
Well, you are all hands on deck.
Yep.
You are fighting a declared war against the Central Powers, and we need anything and everything we can. And at some point, it was deemed we need to be able to see the enemy.
Right.
From our ships, from our submarines, we need to be able to fight them, and we need to be able to see what's going on.
Which ties into what you're just bringing in. One of the reasons we wanted getting involved in this war is that unrestricted submarine warfare. Our sailors are going to need binoculars and telescopes to possibly see the enemy if that submarine does happen to surface or they're able to see the torpedo heading towards their ship. So now we're at war. I think the other thing is that when we look at just this first paragraph, I wonder, were we in fact ready for this war at this point?
Well, I mean, we're already significantly involved in the war by April of 1918.
Right.
And if we're asking the general public for help in producing necessary things for fighting a war, we probably weren't so well prepared.
Right.
We are an industrial giant by 1918. We should be able to mass produce these things relatively easily. So it lends you to believe, why do we have to reach out to the public?
I mean, Woodrow Wilson ran on he kept us out of the war. So it's looking like, the public's like, all right, well, we're not getting involved in this.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, bang, you're smack right in the middle of it.
And the last war that we fought about 20 years prior to this was really a civil war.
It was a first round knockout.
Yeah.
When we're looking at the Spanish-American War, first round knockout, 4 months. So they're kind of catching us off guard here. If I'm looking here, if we need telescopes and binoculars, I'm thinking we probably don't have enough ammunition. We probably don't have enough rifles. We definitely don't have enough people to hold these things. So let's read on then. At the termination of the war, if possible, every effort will be made to return them to you, when it is hoped that you will feel compensated for any evidence of wear by the knowledge that you have supplied eyes for the Navy during a very trying period. On behalf of the Navy, I wish to thank you most heartily, very respectfully, F.D. Roosevelt, Assistant Secretary of the Navy. I wonder if she got her binoculars back.
Yeah. I wonder. And he's basically saying, if there's any wear or tear on these things, we're sorry.
Yeah.
And for compensation, just know that you helped us win the war.
Right.
Which, again, leads you to think, how long did it take from the time we declared war till we actually had the phrases boots on the ground?
Right.
Why? What's going on? Why were we getting to this point? But, Long Island connection.
I love the Long Island connection. Medford.
Yeah.
Route 112 off the Long Island Expressway, if I can get those words out. And again, if you look, Long Island, we're close, being that we're Long Island, we're close to the water, East Coast. Is there a chance that people have binoculars for bird watching or looking at the water or whatever the case may be? It's possible, but it's one of those things where they felt the need to reach out to the public with this one. We have our geographical connections here, historical. We miss anything on this one?
No, we're good.
No, good document here.
Thank you, Miss Fullerton.
Alrighty, good. Thanks for watching.